Hey guys, how's everyone doing today? Mike here. Happy Friday, of course. If you notice, I have the phone flipped upright today. YouTube's kind of trying to push it towards being up and down like this. Let me know if you guys prefer it this way or landscape. I actually prefer it landscape, but I don't know. YouTube's trying to used to just be able to flip the camera and it flipped, but now you have to actually go through the settings and actually click landscape. So go ahead and let me know what you guys think about that, and we will adjust how we do the live feeds accordingly. I see a lot of you guys are already talking. Harvey's saying he needs these in his life. I'm assuming you guys are talking about the video I put up at the beginning. Those are the gold ocellatus. We will go look at those in a second. Right now there's some people over there looking at them, so what's everyone else saying? Kim says I have 30 tanks. That's impressive. Between my fiance and I, we have about 30 tanks in our house. It's a lot of work, but it's a labor of love. Thank you, Shady Grady, for the feedback. I also prefer it the other way. Today I just wanted to start on time, and I forgot to go ahead and hit that landscape mode. If I tried to manually force it, it won't let me start the feed. So we will next week we'll go the other way if I see a lot more feedback wanting it that way. I'm gonna turn you guys around. Let's look at some fish. We will go look at the gold ocellatus we have here for sale. We will look at some bleaker eye. We'll look. So also while we're looking, guys, I want to talk about the importance of water changes and what we think about them here. You can see this tank just got a water change. Our well water comes in very, very cloudy, so you can tell the difference between this tank and this tank that just got a water change. So if you see any tanks that are looking like this, it's just our well water. We are working on a filtration system for it, so it'll be nice and clear when it comes in. Hey Derek from Lake Mary. How about this weather? It's really nice. Alright, so here we go. Here's the gold ocellatus. As you can see, for our ease, we don't house them in our sail tanks with shells. Once these shell dwellers get into shells and you're trying to sell them, it makes it really difficult. So these are really nice. These guys are they're 1 inch to 1.5 inches. The biggest ones in there are probably about 1.5 inches. So you got 2 fish in the back there fighting over that pipe. So these guys are looking really good. So water changes, guys, let's talk about them. Why are they important? They're important to get all the nitrates, ammonia, detritus out of your tanks. Really, the size of water changes you do, the amount or percentage of water change you do, is going to depend on your fish and your bio load, if you have live plants or not. Here weekly, these tanks get about 50% of an actual water change, so we'll actually siphon out 50%, and then a couple times a week we'll actually have water here dripping in for an hour or two, and that's going to be about a 20 or 30%. So throughout the week they're getting about 70 to 80% fresh water throughout the week in these tanks. Look at these lulupi. These guys are looking really good. Really bright yellow on these. Yeah, guys, go ahead and hit that like button if you're liking these streams. Really appreciate it, Fish Fam. So these little lupi are really nice. These guys are about 2 inches. Maybe some of them are 2.5 inches. Sometimes when we breed them, they all end up looking like this guy, but we have a nice strain in right now, and they're all coming out like this with that occasional darker one. Kim's asking, what is my opinion on sponge filters? I love sponge filters. So here in these tanks, we're using Matin filters. You see they go from the front to the back of the tank, and that is a lot of room for biological bacteria. And same with the traditional sponge filter, like a traditional just like cylindrical sponge filter. I really like those too. I personally prefer those. They're easier to clean. They do a really good job of picking up any detritus and holding a lot of beneficial bacteria. So I'm a huge fan of sponge filters. At home, I run a lot of sponge filters. There's only one tank I have that I don't run sponges, and that is just for aesthetics. So I have one like show tank, and I run a canister filter on it. But any other tanks that I have are either filterless with a lot of live plants, or sponge filters. They just do a really good job. Kim, I tend to squeeze them out really good. So if I'm cleaning a sponge at home or here, not these sponges though, these are different for us, but at home, if I'm doing a regular sponge filter, I will actually put it in a bucket of water and I'll squeeze that sponge until the water comes out clear. The drawback of that is if you don't have a lot of beneficial bacteria in your tank. So if you have like a bare bottom tank or a tank with no decorations or anywhere for bacteria to settle, you're going to be in a bad situation. But if you have a tank like this with all this sand and you got some plants in there, the beneficial bacteria is going to be in the sand. It's going to be on your plants. So you're going to be okay if you take that sponge and you clean it really good. Just be careful if you have a lot of fish. You can potentially you can clean too much if you have too many fish. You have an overstocked tank. So just be cautious of that. Every situation is going to be a little bit different. Alexander's asking if we use prime or safe. We use fresh well water here. We do have safe on the farm, but we don't really use it. We use it a few times for, like, there's been a few very specific situations we'll use it where if we're treating a fish and we're using a lot of antibiotics and there's no beneficial bacteria in that tank and we want to avoid ammonia spikes, we will use safe sometimes in the aquarium just to help lock that ammonia up so it's not affecting the fish. But other than that, we just use straight well water, or we use RO water remineralized with our well water. Football's asking about marble hatchets and spotted hatchet fish being compatible. I would say yeah. I don't know any specifics about either one of them, but I do know hatchet fish in general are very peaceful. Just make sure you have a lid. They love to jump. They're always at the surface of your tank and they will jump right out. So we've been looking at the cylindricus, or the Neolamprologus cylindricus. If you guys wondering, these are really nice. See, one guy's starting to color up. In these tanks, we're just pretty much holding them, and sometimes the fish won't be like full color. Or in this case, these guys are still kind of small, so they're not really showing a ton of color. So back to water changes, guys. You guys have any questions about water changes, about sizes or how often, or just why? I know some people don't believe in water changes, so you guys have any questions about them? Derek, we do not have either one of those fish. He's asking about butterfly gobies and or wasp fish. We do not carry those. So these are the Lepidolamprologus hecki or hequi. These guys are really cool. These are a larger shell dweller. I think we had these. These are fry from some we brought in to sell, and they got about 4 inches, and then they bred in here, and these are the fry. Pretty cool fish. They have a really interesting face. Pretty cool body shape for a shell dweller. Pretty long. Footballs wants their input on water changes. Well, I think they're really important, and I think weekly to every other week, maybe bi-weekly, is important. It's good for your fish health. It's good to, if you want to try and spawn your fish. There are cases where you don't need to do water changes that often, but I know a lot of our customers are into African cichlids, and they like overstocking their tanks. And if you are one of those customers, I would highly suggest doing 50 to 75% water change a week, because you are overstocking your tank, and you're going to help get all that ammonia and nitrates out. Even if you're over filtering, I still suggest to do those big water changes. Your fish are going to appreciate it, and you're going to appreciate it because you're going to see your fish showing better colors, and they're going to be a lot happier. It's just really important that you dechlorinate your water if you are on city water, or you have any sort of water treatment that uses chlorine or chloramines. So just be careful of that. Chelsea's asking about apistos. Yeah, we have apistos. We can go look at some. So Bill's saying he never uses safe or any other medicine because he really only does top off. So yeah, I hear of a lot of people who do that and they get away with it. Just be very careful. Sometimes the city, like when it rains a lot, the city might be flushing with a lot more chlorine than normal, and I've heard of a lot of people losing their entire tanks of fish with just the smallest added water because of the amount of chlorine that the city was putting into their water. So just be very careful with that. So a lot of our apistos are pretty small right now. These are the trifasciata. See if I can get the focus for you guys. You see they're pretty small. They're about 1 inch. Give me 1 second, guys. See if I can wipe this off for you. So, Pistogramma trifasciata, one of my favorite apistos. Right now they don't look like much, but I do see a young male right there. Right in the middle of the camera. They will get a really nice extended ray on their dorsal fin, and they'll get some red. The dorsal fin will be tipped in red. Like it'll almost be outlined. These guys are really nice. You can see it's already a little bit extended. Derek, we are open to the public, but by appointment only. So if anybody's local, or if you're coming to the area for a vacation and you guys want to visit, you can. But please go to our website, type in appointment, and you can sign up for an appointment. There is a $5 charge. It's for a 30-minute window. If you purchase anything, that $5 just goes towards your purchase. And we do ask that you spend at least a minimum of $50 just so it's worth our time, because we have a lot going on at any point in time here. So if you guys are interested, go ahead and check that out. Even if you're on vacation and maybe you want to come pick out some fish, you can do that, and we'll hold them for about a week. up to a week. We don't like to hold them any longer because we could potentially accidentally sell your fish. We do everything we can not to do that, but just to avoid that situation, we ask that we don't hold your fish for more than a week. Well, I'm not Cichlid World. I don't think we're doing any discount codes for Columbus Day. Mike, we don't use any dechlorinator here. We're on a well, so we don't have to worry about that. But I do highly suggest using Safe. Also, Prime works really well. Here's a giant bucket of some Safe. I'll show you guys. So, Seachem Safe. You guys see this? We got a lot of it, but we don't use it that often. Very rare that we do use it. Let's go back and look at some more Apistos. Here's the Borelli. There's not too many in here. We sell a lot of these. These guys are pretty small, and these are being sold as unsexed right now as well. Star Sapphires. I will look for some. Yeah, Dennis is asking about shipping for plants and if it's different. Yeah, right now we're working on having a separate shipping option for plants only. It's going to be, I don't even think you'll have to do anything. We're trying to make it so it'll automatically do that, but we are working on that. In the meantime, if you only buy plants, just go ahead and email us, check out, email us, and we will refund you the difference in shipping. But we are working on fixing that. Alright, so here's a couple Star Sapphires. Not too many chips yet, but you see that guy has one chip. These guys are 3.5, 4 inches. So these are all males, but not too many chips yet. All the fish, they either have like 1 or 2 or none still. They take a while to get those chips. These guys are looking pretty good. Fire Uganda gives some Victorians some love. Lake Victoria does not get enough love, in my opinion. There's some really interesting fish coming out of there. These guys are pretty nice. Stacy's asking if we have any issues with algae and how do we combat it. We don't use any products. Everything is done by hand. So you see if I can get the, can you guys see the algae on this tank? It's not much, there's a little bit. See that right there? Mostly brown, like diatom type algae. But we just use magic erasers or just some sponges, and we just wipe them down. If anybody's into discus, check these Royal Floral discus out. These guys are really, really nice. I'm a huge fan of these guys. We also just stocked some of our own discus. I don't know if they're on the website yet. We were holding off just to make sure that they acclimated okay. These are the red turquoise discus. These were spawned in-house. Now they're small. They're about an inch, inch and a half from nose to tip of the tail. But this is a good way to get a good price on a discus, because discus are pretty expensive, so you get them at the smaller size, it's going to be more affordable as long as you're patient. Obialis, yeah, Cichlid. Cichlid World, we'll go look at some Obialis. Also, check out these Redback Amapas. These guys are really nice. You're looking for like a nice wild type angel. Got the redback Amapas. A couple tanks of those. How about this pike cichlid, guys? So we've been making a video about this guy. We made a short video we're working on. I'm not sure when it's going to come out, but these guys are beautiful. And if anybody's interested, he is on the website. Just know he can get up to 15 inches and he needs a lot of space. Let's see what we have for obialis in here. We have a lot of obialis, but they're not necessarily all in here in the warehouse. They're going to be on the other side of the farm, but there are a few here. So you can see a lot of them are bluish, purple, some pinks in there, a lot of white in them. A little bit of orange and red in there too, but mostly, seems like a lot of our OB line is more of like a blueberry. That's not what we call them, but they're more kind of that, heading towards that color. These guys, this is an all male tank, looking pretty good. These guys are about 3.5, 4 inches as well. Ah, look at this guy. You can tell who's the boss in this tank. This is the blue orchid. There's a couple really colored up ones. Sorry guys, I'm fighting a ladder. It's kind of in my way. Really, really colorful. That blaze against that dark blue just really stands out. Sorry guys, see how I was fighting this ladder? Here's a fish I think everybody needs in their African male tanks. The blue flash. Now this is a line bred fish, obviously. It's a cyanochromis, so it's a hap. There's still a lot of variation in the strain, but the color, I'm not seeing the color. Football, no, that last fish was blue orchid peacock. So the color isn't showing up as well on video, but these guys like kind of glow. They got a lot of iridescence. So on the top right here, and you can see a little bit on this guy, there's a lot of iridescence in their scales. But you can see some of this guy kind of looks like an Ali. So the strain isn't like 100%, but a lot of these fish are really, really cool. Got the albino dragon bloods. So, did anybody join our live feed earlier this week? Do you guys remember that we seined in the dragon blood pond? Yes, that last football, that last tank was haps. These are haps. So those are a cyanochromis. Yellowheads, are you asking about the Nakata Bay? Oh, so those dragon blood guys. Let's go for a walk. Let's go across the farm. We're gonna go look at those real quick. They settled in really good. We actually didn't lose any fish, which is really exciting. We're gonna take a walk. So we're gonna walk. So yeah, back to the dragon bloods. We didn't lose any fish. They came in really good. So we got the dragon bloods in there. We got the OB Borlei. If I can't see your comments, guys, I'm sorry. It's really sunny out. So let's go check them out. We got 4 vats of them. So we should have, if anybody's interested in dragon bloods, I would say next week or maybe the week after. It depends on just how they do over the weekend. So as long as these fish do well over the weekend, next week we should get a lot more dragon bloods in. Now these are our German strain, so there are going to be a lot more pink and red compared to our old strain, which could be, sometimes it could be really red, but a lot of times we got a lot of orange out of them. So here's the vat, it's clean. This is one of the vats. We have 4 of them, so I'm gonna get the water to settle down for you guys. So you can see there's a lot of color in here. So this is one vat. There's 3 more just like it. So let's go look at the other 3. The one right next door, same thing. There's some really nice males in there. I mean, check that out. As long as we have enough Borlei, yeah, same thing for them. It looks like a lot of females, unfortunately, on the Borlei. I don't see too many like really colorful males. I see a lot of females, and hopefully it's just a lot of subdominant males, and once we start picking, the rest of them will start coloring up. Here's one really nice Borlei. I'm going to try to zoom in on it for you. So he's right there. Let me get my finger out of there. You see him? So there's a couple males in there. There's one more right there. So they're looking really good. So these guys are probably, as a group, they're all going to be 3 to 4 inches. Some of them are 4 to 5. So it really depends. We're gonna try to get those up for you next week. Jermaine, that's great news. We always have a lot of females available because not a lot of people want them. So here's the other vat. I see a couple more OB Borlei in there. There's a nice male there. A lot of dragon bloods. I see a lot of pinkish red in this batch, which is good. I think that's the more desirable color than the pinkish orange. So yeah, that's all 4 vats. Sneak peek at some other fish. We just brought these in today. Or no, these brought in yesterday. Might not look like much right now, but these are the red top hungai. That these are a German strain. I think they're the Swedish strain. They're the Swedish hungai. I'm sorry, I misspoke. So there's Swedish hungai in here, and there are yellowhead Nakata Bay peacocks. We have 2 vats of those. Got the green face peacocks in here. A lot of females. So we already took some males out of here. So there's mostly females left. Here's some more Swedish hungai. I don't see too many peacocks in this vat. Most of them are going to be the Mabuna. Susan, you can if we have them available. Just sometimes we might not have females available because we're using them for breeding. So as long as we have some available, I'm not sure if we do currently. Dennis is asking about the African moon tetra, or the black darter, or scarlet batis, female scarlet batis. We don't ever carry the scarlet batis. I don't think we've ever carried the African moon tetra, and the black darter tetra. We don't have any, but we have carried them before. SC's asking how many gallons these tanks are. So here's a full shot of one of them. So these are burial vaults for those of you who don't know. So this is what they put coffins in, and they're just drilled. So we drill a hole in them and put a pipe in there, and then they just get constant water flow. So each one of these vats depends how high we fill them. Up to the top, so if it's like filled here or low, that's like 220 gallons. So a lot of these are filled to the top. I like to maximize them as best as we can. The ones that are halfway, so for our live bears and for our rainbow fish, we will have them about halfway, so they're about 110 gallons. Now the reason we can get away with having this many fish and not have to worry about ammonia and all that is because we have the constant water flow from our well, and they get about a 30% water change every day on top of just being regularly cleaned. So yes, there's a lot of fish, but a couple things, they're not in here very long, and also they're always getting that fresh water. So, and guys, check it out, that's 500 black swords. We do sell wholesale, so we'll have a bunch of these in and we'll sell to stores and other wholesalers. So guys, that's just one of our greenhouses. Those fish are looking, those dragon bloods that we sent in look really good. The guys did a really good job bringing them in. Got a lot of angelfish in. These guys are pretty big. These are like almost full-size angelfish here. So these were all, I think I may have done a couple videos on these. These were all bred here, raised here in our ponds too. More angels. And more angels. And more angels at a smaller size. Even more angels. So we have a lot of angelfish hidden right now, guys. So if you're interested in angelfish, we got the smoky veil angels. We got the smoky blue Pinoy angels. We have the regular smoky angels. We have the platinum angels and some Bulgarian green angels. And we just checked out another one of our ponds, and we have a lot of the high coverage, full red koi angels. I think we'll just call them probably high coverage red koi angels. These are our fire mouths. These guys are, obviously they don't look like much from above, but got a lot of them. Jersey Boy TV is asking about Pictus catfish. I don't think, ever since I've worked here, we've never carried them. I don't know if we will. No white platies. Not a strain that we currently carry. All of our platies are red or blue. We have some sunburst platies. Nothing with white in them though. Oh, that's cool, Ed. So we have a bunch of those in the warehouse, a bunch of the smoky Pinoy angels in the warehouse, and that's where we'll sell them from. And we just stock the warehouse from these greenhouses. So for you guys who don't know the process, I'll explain it to you really quick and then I'm gonna get out of here. So it all starts in here or the greenhouse, and we will actually breed these fish inside, and then we raise the fry up until right after they're off baby brine shrimp. From there, we're gonna take a couple hundred to a couple thousand of them, and we're gonna put them out in one of our ponds. And then we're gonna grow them out in those ponds. Now, depending on the fish, they could be in the pond from anywhere from 3 months to a year. It just depends on how fast they grow out and what size we want them. And then from the pond, we're gonna bring them into the greenhouse. Just like you guys saw earlier this week, we're gonna seine them into the greenhouse, and then we're gonna bring them in the greenhouse. We're gonna treat them, and we're gonna get them healthy. Not that they aren't already healthy. We're gonna treat them, and make sure that they are 100% healthy and ready to go. And then they'll go from our greenhouse into the warehouse, and then that's where we'll sell them from. So that's the whole process. So guys, that's going to be it for today. Thank you guys for joining. It's very sunny out, so thank you guys for joining today. I'm going to try to do a couple more random videos next week. This week I was real busy. We were doing some filming of more edited videos and everything, so just keep an eye out and we will get some more videos out to you. So thank you guys, and we'll see you next week.